Back with another Korean baseball slate breakdown. This is for Thursday. It's another 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time start. So before we get into it, appreciate if you would hit the like on the video and subscribe if you have not already. Yesterday, the hitters kind of let me down. They did not come through at all. Went cheap at pitching with that 4K pitcher, Pinto, who did good, and another cheapie, but it didn't end up working out too well because the bats that I paid out for didn't do anything, so just the way baseball goes sometimes. But looking ahead to tonight, yesterday Draftkings also had the incorrect starters out for most of the day. And right now it looks like some of these starters are not the same as the ones on my KBO stats.com. So I am going off of these starters because they were the ones that were accurate yesterday that they had posted here. So I'm sure DraftKings will update throughout the day, but that's where I'm going so I don't have to make another video later today like I had to do yesterday. So plugging in some of these starters, we can compare their stats. It looks like we got most of them in here. A couple of them we don't have stats for: David Buchanan and Chris Flexen, who were in the major leagues. Buchanan hasn't pitched in the major leagues in quite some time, and he was also not very good, especially getting strikeouts. But if you see here, not a ton of terrible pitchers. We probably have one bullpen game anticipated, as one pitcher has never made a start, and that's the guy for the Twins here last year, and even in his career he hasn't made a start, so I'm expecting a bullpen game from that team. But we do have some good strikeout pitcher. We have one great strikeout pitcher on the slate, and that is from the Dinos, Koo Chang-mo. Well over a strikeout per inning, which is very rare in this league. As you see, nobody else was very close on this slate, so he is going to be one of my favorite pitchers. He's also very cheap on DraftKings. If you plug him in there, he is 5,700 from the Dinos, so that is very cheap. 5,700 for him, with a guy that's averaged well over a strikeout per inning last year and was a pretty low ERA as well. And then the other guy that I like as a cheap pitcher is 7,300 for Jisong Bae at 7,300. Also was decent with his strikeouts from last year. Pretty decent ERA, 3.76. Not tremendous at getting strikeouts, but definitely decent enough. And it's a decent matchup against the Giants. They have started off the season pretty well, but they were one of the worst teams last year, so I'm not sure if they're going to come down to earth. But I still think that a $7,300 pitcher in Bay is a decent option tonight. Other guys I would look at, well, DraftKings has some incorrect pitchers, but I think 8,000 for Wong Tae Choi is also fine. But these two I like. Gives me more opportunity to spend over hitters, which hopefully will work out on today's slate. So stack-wise today, I am looking at the Dino stack. They led the league in home runs last year, and they started off the season hitting quite a number of home runs as well. So they look like a good stack against Buchanan. If you look at Buchanan's numbers, he's decent at getting some ground balls, but in the major leagues, he was terrible at getting strikeouts, and that strikeout rates go down big time in Korea. So he's probably going to be pitching to contact. So I do like the Dino stack a lot. And then I like the KIW stack also a ton, and then the SK stack also. So those are the three stacks that I'm most confident in. And then the Wiz stack, I would say, looks good, especially if the Giants go with the bullpen game, as a pitcher that they have listed on my KBO only pitched out of the bullpen in his career, and only pitched like 1 or 2 innings per start. So let's get started with first base. At first base, out of this group, I like Jamie Romack. He is 6,100. He's expensive, but he is one of the better hitters in the KBO, so you got to respect him. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, I think Changmin Mo looks fine, and also Park didn't do much yesterday, but I think he can get back on track today. He's also much cheaper than Romack, and also the matchup is still good for him. Second base, out of this group, you got some cheap options like Seo, 3,000 from KIW. You have the Dinos, 3,400. He bats near the bottom of the order, but if you want to spend up, you have Park. At third base, I like 4,700 for Park here. He hits he's been batting fifth in the lineup, so a good spot in the order. He has good power. If you look at his career and his past, if you want to look at that, last two games he's been starting in the 5-hole. He has decent power, 19 home runs, 16 homers last 2 years. Hits for a decent average as well. Those home run rates are fine for this league and not overly expensive. The stack for the Dinos looks pretty nice tonight, so I think he looks like a viable option at third base. As shortstop, I like Kim from the Heroes. He's just a solid hitter with a lot of speed. If you look at his stats, he's been batting second in the batting order for the team. This team also looks like it'll be one of the best teams this year, especially from the offensive standpoint. Last year, he had 19 home runs, 307. He's also very young, 24 years old. Plenty of stolen base upside, 33 stolen bases last year, and that is vital for Draftkings and Fanduel. In the outfield, I still like Sungbum Na. I think he continues to be cheap on DraftKings, just too cheap for the upside that he does have. And he started off the season pretty well. He's also been one of the best hitters in the KBO before he got hurt last year, and then he hasn't really missed a beat so far in the first couple games. He's been fine. Batting in the 3-hole, great spot there. 2019 in limited games, he had 366, 318 the year before that. So he looks like a good option. And then last but not least, I would say that you could go with Altair if you want at 5,900. He also looks fine. But from another guy that I like from KIW is Lee at 4,700, just because he's pretty cheap, and he also hits right at the top of the order, which is where I like to get my hitters. And batting in the 3-hole, he doesn't hit for a ton of power, but he hits for a great average. He is one of the best average hitters in the last couple of years, and he's also is young, so plenty of chance for him to get more power there, a little bit of speed as well. But really for him, you're going to get a good opportunity to get on base and put runners in and have runners in scoring position maybe on the slate, just because they are in a good spot as a stack. So that's what I'm liking so far. It leaves you plenty to spend up on the other hitters. And then over on FanDuel, I love the Dino starting pitcher just because of that strikeout upside that he has. Not very many pitchers have good strikeout stuff in this league, so anytime you get a pitcher like that, definitely want to have him in there. At Infielder, I am waiting for this guy to have a good game. He started off the season pretty slow the first 2 games. Yang from the Dinos, he has been one of the best, or if not the best hitter in the KBO over the past couple years. He's bats cleanup. He's a catcher, but you wouldn't expect it by looking at the numbers. 354 average last year. Plenty of home run power as well. 358 in 2018. So just a matter of time before he gets going. And people aren't that popular on him right now, especially on FanDuel. He wasn't super popular last couple of days, so I'm not sure if not many people are aware of how good of a hitter he is. As a lot of people probably just look at the box scores, but I do want to go after him at $12. That is just really, really cheap. Another outfield that I like is Aaron Altair. Former Philly, he has hit some long balls so far this year. He had 2 in the first game that got to the warning track, and then yesterday he hit a home run, also had a stolen base. So he's been batting in the 2-hole. Looks like he might have some success in this league. In the major leagues, he struck out way too much, but this is a low strikeout league, so looks like he could have a good career, or at least a very good season this year for the Dinos. Another guy that I like at Infielder is probably going to be Jamie Romick. He's $15, a little bit expensive, but the SK stack is very appealing on FanDuel today, even on DraftKings. So he looks like he can be a good option. He also has plenty of power if you want to look at his stats. And then last but not least, I'd say that you could go with Lee if you want, again, in the outfield. If you want to go a little bit with a different route, you could go with Park again at first base. There's going to be plenty of Parks here, but the $14 first baseman, I like to get back on track. Had a 0 for yesterday, but a guy that does have plenty of power, and I think it's a good spot as a stack for them. cleanup hitter, plenty of power with him. So very rare in this league. I feel like he's another good guy to get into your lineup. Not overly expensive either. So that is the breakdown that I'm looking at for DraftKings and Fanduel. Like I said, DraftKings has some pitchers that are not the same as the ones on this site. I kind of want to go with the ones on the site as they were the ones that were right yesterday. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, you can hit the like button down below, and good luck tonight.